T, what would you do if I told you that we made a Let's Play channel where we get to play video games all the time and hang out with our friends and chill and talk to people?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty bad.
Well, I'm glad you're on board because we did make a Let's Play channel, and it's actually over at Degenerate Plays, which will be linked in the description below.
Cool.
T will be there with his positive attitude as always, held with a gun to his head, and hey, we're gonna jump right into the video.
Please help.
Iron Man. What do you think? What do you think about Iron Man in general?
Sure, yeah. I think, especially with the success of the MCU, he's at an all-time high right now.
Oh, it absolutely is.
The stocks of Iron Man.
And he had over a decade-long story told over multiple installments, wrapped up finally with the final Avengers movie, Endgame. Obviously, there will be more. Yeah, very brilliantly. And that's the thing is, where is he in video games? What have we seen from him? Oh wait, we've seen a really crappy couple of games. Well, they're okay on the Xbox 360.
Oh yeah.
Iron Man and Iron Man 2, the games, they're meh. One of them's pretty bad, and the other one's okay. And that's the thing is, now he's finally coming back here in the new Avengers game. He's popped up on and off in Marvel vs. Capcom, I guess. That's about it. Where's his game?
Yeah, I think a game with him would be really easy to make, is the thing, too. I think it was rumored, actually, by Insomniac, the people that were making the Spider-Man games, that there was a rumor that they were going to make this giant MC universe themselves.
Well, there have been some rumors, too, that there is an Iron Man game of some kind in production. It's been sort of, not abandoned, but like people haven't known what to make of that because of the whole Avengers game coming out and stuff. Like, oh, is it a thing? Is it not? People don't know. But I really do think that it could be a fascinating concept to just have Iron Man. And we wanted to talk a little bit about how you would do that, or how we would do that as idea people who talk about games who have never made one.
That's right.
I guess that's worth clarifying.
We are the experts.
Oh, absolutely. I can judge your art, but I can't make it. Welcome to Earth. That's how it works.
Welcome to Earth.
Film criticism is an entire industry, so sorry, suck it. So here's the thing with that.
I'm glad you apologized before you said suck it.
No problem, dude. I do what I can.
I'm really sorry. I'm going to need you to suck it.
I'm very humble. I'm the best.
Yes.
So here's the thing with the Iron Man game is I really do think that while open world can be a bit overdone, I think you would kind of need that for this.
Oh, for sure. With the way, it's kind of the same idea to a way lesser extent. It's like a Superman game. You need a place for Iron Man to fly around. You do. You need a big world. He travels at, I believe, Mach speeds in his Iron Man suit, so you need to be able to utilize that speed, feel like you're going very quickly around, and you want like very noticeable and, I guess, memorable locations in that world as well.
Absolutely.
You'll definitely want Stark Tower. I think you'll want to be able to go to his house if possible.
In Malibu Beach?
In Malibu, yeah, if possible. I don't know how, because Malibu, and I think isn't Stark Tower in like New York, so that's not there. But it'd be cool to have something like that though. They did that with, and it's different, but like Lego Avengers did a really good job with that, with having those different locations. So
yeah, cool. And you know what's funny? That speaking of that, that's probably the gameplay I'm going to show of Iron Man.
Yeah,
because I don't really think it's worth showing the Xbox 360 one when talking about this. It's just not very good.
Yeah.
But they do a great job of that. They have his house in there. They have him able to fly around and shoot. It's very simple. Very simplified.
For sure.
Like, you would need to go much bigger in terms of an actual Iron Man game, but why can Lego do it, but a actual company can't?
It's a great point. Lego does a great job with it. And I mean, the thing is too, is like even the combat with Iron Man is really fun in Lego. It's simple. Like you said, there's not a whole lot to it, but it is really fun when you are blasting guys around. There's like a laser beam coming out of his chest that you just melt guys with. And so
yeah, the Unibeam.
Yeah, oh yeah. And so you could have a combat in a game like this that is way more developed and does not by any means need to be rhythm based like Arkham, and could go in just a completely different direction. I mean, it doesn't.
Well, I would argue that it should be in some sense and not in others. So you know how Spider-Man is like always rhythm based? Mm-hmm. Spider-Man does it all the time. Like Spider-Man does that rhythm combo base if you're in the air, if you're on the ground, if you're in the air shooting webs, if you're on the ground shooting webs, if you're punching, if you're kicking. It's always that. Why couldn't Iron Man be rhythm based when you're at close range, but when you're at long range, it's a shooter? You know, you wouldn't want that rhythm based if a guy is 100 meters away and you unibeam him.
Right.
That wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
But if you have a circle of guys around you and you're like punching and repulsing them, it would make sense for it to be that. You could almost design two different combat systems, one for aerial or for long range attacks, and one for short range repulsor beams, unibeam blasts, anything like that, melee attacks, because he does still punch people.
He does, yeah.
You know, anything like that could be an Arkham style, but with the additional ranged combat added in.
That's a good point. There's a lot of, I think rhythm, it still could absolutely work, and rhythm is a really fun thing that Arkham introduced. It's fantastic.
It would just have to be its own version.
It would definitely have to be unique.
We have seen a lot of games since those Arkham games like first started coming out that are just the same thing with like a different, like a facelift. You know, or like just a very different mask on it.
Small tweak.
Yeah, like the Spider-Man is fantastic. I think it does a really good job with its combat, and I think it changes it enough that it's unique. I like it the way it is.
Agreed.
And I'm glad that they took some inspiration from other things on the market and changed it. But something like The Amazing Spider-Man was just a rip-off of the Arkham combat, and it was kind of boring. You and I played through that whole game. It's like enjoyable, it's pretty, but like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I'm playing worse Arkham.
Yeah, it's not great.
We don't want Iron Man to be worse Arkham. We want it to be its own thing.
And you want to feel, the whole idea is to feel like Iron Man, and Batman does a great job with that. Spider-Man does a great job like that with that. And with Iron Man, he's got such a different set of skills that would need to be implemented into his combat and into, I guess, stealth.
Well, can we point out two different armors? Like, different armors would have to work differently.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, there would have to be basic things, right? Like repulsors and unibeams, everything has that. I mean, everything would have the core, everything would have the repulsors on the gauntlets. That's just a mainstay. But you see things like in the MCU, like the difference between the Heartbreaker and the Mark 42. There is a significant difference. There's stealth suits. There's underwater suits. There's suits designed for outer space. There is the nano suit. I don't remember the name of it. It's like the Mark 80 or something. I don't remember. The one from Endgame and Infinity War. Like that is designed with actual like, you know, nanotechnology where it's like moving around and stuff like that, tiny little robots, versus the original where it's like the Mark 1 where it's just this giant massive walking tin can.
Yeah.
Like there's big differences there in between how those play, how they look. I think at the end of the day, that's what you need. And if you really want to make people feel like Tony Stark, you allow them to design suits.
Oh, that'd be insane. Well, and being able to have like the environment of where you're designing suits and have Jarvis and have him kind of there as your Oracle or Alfred, I guess, as you're talking through would be great. I think you could definitely create an environment that is really, I guess, similar to the Iron Man that you saw on the screen. You could absolutely create and capture that while also creating really interesting and unique combat and, like you said, with a different variety of suits that are focused on totally different things. They do that in the Lego games as well, not to keep going back to them, but they have different suits that do different things. You see it in the Batman games, you see it in the Marvel games. It's all over in the Lego games.
It's almost like you're designing different gameplay styles for characters. And the thing is, like, I think it's doable because, yes, it's more complicated, but you're keeping basic tenets the same. Like we said, like the repulsor blasts and the unibeams, those are the same. The flying is probably the same. Maybe there's a difference in speed. But other things, you know, maybe there's certain attacks you can only do wearing let's say you make the Mark 15. Maybe there's certain attacks that has that the Mark 5 doesn't. And it doesn't have to be the same marks or versions from the MCU. But one thing you and I noticed about the new Avengers game in its promotional trailers is like, it feels like everybody's a knockoff of the MCU version. That's the other thing you'd have to avoid here. Like, we want to play as not Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, unless you're willing to pay him, which I doubt they would be. But we also don't want to be like Ribbit Uppy Sr.'s Iron Man.
No.
You know, where it seems like it's, or Bobbert Downey Senior. You know, it's like some kind of like knockoff version of like the RDJ Iron Man. We don't want that.
No.
We don't want to be like weird Uncanny Valley Man.
I think it would, yeah, you don't want that. I think you would want to go, I think if you were to start with an Iron Man game, you'd want to go young. Because that's something that we really didn't see in the MCU. And it's not something we've seen a lot of.
Mid-30s or late 30s at the beginning.
And so if you see him when he's in his early 20s, he's just young getting started. And maybe when he's first learning all of this, and you see that in the MCU when he's first figuring out how to be Iron Man. But it'd be cool to see him younger, and it'd be cool to see him kind of build that way up. It'd be a different take. It'd feel fresh, and it wouldn't feel like, no, he's the same age, he looks a little bit different. You know, it'd be, I don't know.
Well, something with that too, by the way, is remember Spider-Man did that, but the opposite. And people loved that. It was like, okay, you've seen Spider-Man as a teenager 500,000 times. We get it. We're tired of it too. Here's Spider-Man in his mid-20s when he's like really established. He's been Spider-Man for years. He's actually really intelligent. So if you go the other way where it's, no, you saw experienced Tony Stark, where it's like, even though he was learning to be Iron Man, he had been a weapons developer for years and an inventor for years. What if he's just figuring out how to do those things?
And you were learning with him as the player.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a really cool, that would bring some connection with Tony and the player, and it kind of brings the story it makes it more interesting as a story, I guess, because you're learning to become Iron Man. The pinnacle of the game is you becoming Iron Man at your peak, but you're also doing some amazing things in the meantime, and you can design your own suits. You're doing that with Tony. You're maybe developing Jarvis and having Jarvis become a thing. So
Yeah.
I think there's a million different directions that they could go with this, and it's not something that's really been touched in a good way that we've seen in a video game.
And I do want to bring up, too, that I think one thing that this would have to solve is what I call the Bruce Wayne problem from Arkham. And not to compare everything to that, but it's the idea of, like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, every time Bruce Wayne shows up, no one cares. It's like, just brush that aside, let's move on. I think you need to be able to connect the Tony Stark element with the Iron Man element in this. Because that's something that a lot of superhero games have had a hard time doing, is, like, they think, like, okay, look, the guy under the mask is boring. We don't care. We just want to see the fighting and him in the mask and stuff. And I think Spider-Man started going in that direction with Marvel Spider-Man with, like, you know, Peter has a life going on here. He has things going on at Feast. He has Mary Jane, as much as she might be annoying. He has things going on with Miles and a protege there. He has, obviously, his work with Otto Octavius and his work there. Aunt May, yeah. There's all these different relationships that the character under the mask has. As well. And I think that if you sort of go that direction of bridging the gap between the mask and the person under it, that's another way story-wise that you could really branch out with this, I guess, and be different.
Yeah.
Not just be a copy.
Well, and you could make it so that people don't know that Tony Stark is Iron Man yet. That could be an element of the game that you don't really see much in the MCU either. Is everyone know by, I think, the end of Iron Man 1. He's like, I'm Iron Man.
Well, and the comics are kind of the same way. Like, he pretty early on is like, has a public identity.
Yeah, and I think if you avoided that and did something different in that way, I think it'd be really refreshing for an audience.
I think so too. Yeah, it really is, like, again, we try to say that, like, difference and innovation is not always good. You know, sometimes it's like you try to be different, it's not a good thing. But I think with these superhero games, we have had so many of the same thing over and over and over again across the years. You really need to try and do something different that actually sticks with players now.
Agreed.
Do you have anything else to add to this?
No.
I really want to see it.
I hope it happens.
I mean, I've hyped myself up over the course of talking about this.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, where's the game now?
Yeah, we should start making games
Yeah,
now.
Absolutely. No, we can't. We don't have the rights to that character.
Or skills, yeah.
No, Marvel, we're not doing it. Please don't send Mickey Mouse to beat us up.
Yeah.
Hey, so be sure to check out the links in the description. As always, we're going to have the Let's Play channel link there. Ooh, we're trying to get over a couple K subs before we start uploading at the beginning of May. It is going to be a fun ride. This channel is not going anywhere either. Full speed ahead. We hope you join us. And as always, I am Degenerate Jay.